Welcome back to the program. Lou and Jackie here, being joined by a guy who pretty much just has to say good morning and you'll know exactly who he is. So say good morning, sir.
Good morning, everyone.
Yay! It is Van Harden. How about that? From WHO Radio 1040.
I'm kind of mic shy.
You just got off the air.
I did. I had to run over here real quick.
Yeah, that is very cool.
Well, it's nice of you to let me do that.
Oh, no question about it. Again, Van Harden, radio legend in Des Moines. You have been in Des Moines entertaining the masses for quite some time.
How many years?
Yeah, how long have you been in Des Moines?
I started in Perry in 1971.
Wow.
So, I mean, I did the math once, and I thought, geez, I ought to be dead by
No.
now.
No, but when did you get over to HO Radio?
Let's see, 75, I went to KRNT, and then 86, I went to WHO. So that's like 30 years here and 10 down there.
Right. But an amazing run. You and Bonnie do an amazing job in the morning.
Well, you and I were doing some.
Yeah, we were competitors for a while.
Oh. Synergy, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But it was a lot of fun because you were such a talent and still are such a talent in this market. But the thing that gets me is not only does this guy do radio incredibly well, you are known for some other things too. You're an inventor. You come up with some creations that still to this day people are talking about. The one I do want to mention, you don't know I was going to mention this, but the day teller is one an invention that you had. And tell everybody really quickly about that before we talk about your book.
Well, my mother, who was elderly, had one of these pill boxes with the days on top, you know, and I would go out and help her fill that up. And then sometimes I noticed she'd miss Tuesday or she'd miss Thursday. I said, Mom, what's up? She said, well, I'm kind of ashamed to admit this, but in this retirement lifestyle, I don't always know what day it is. And so I thought, well, I got to get her a clock or a calendar that flips over so she'll know what day it is. And I looked everywhere, and there wasn't such a thing. And I mean, such a simple idea. So I built a clock that just printed out in great big unabbreviated letters the name of the day. And so I had them made, and all of a sudden, all over the country, people started wanting these things, and people would write me letters, and I mean, it'd almost make you cry. You don't know what this has meant to us. But I mean, it wasn't rocket science or anything, but it helped people.
It's just a clock that told you what day it was.
Common sense.
Yeah.
And
sometimes
you may
we
not
need
have thought.
that.
Which is awesome. But another thing that's awesome is people comment about how great you look now. But there was a time that you were a lot heavier than you are right now.
Yeah. In fact, I was sick, and I either didn't know it or I didn't want to admit it, one or the other. And I'm like most guys, I just don't like to go to the doctor. So I didn't. And finally, you know, the alarm goes off at 2:45 in the morning, and that's never a treat, no matter what you weigh. But it was getting harder and harder and harder. And I just thought, I don't know how much longer I can do this.
How heavy did you end up getting up to?
I was like almost 290.
Wow.
And so finally, I just felt so bad, I thought, maybe I'm dying. And so I went to the doctor, and they did all the tests, and I had everything wrong. High cholesterol, high blood pressure, way overweight, pre-diabetic. And so the doctor gives me like 4 prescriptions. And I knew a little something about the prescriptions, and I didn't like it. And I said, do I have to take these? And he said, well, you're the one that came to me with the problem. Right. And I said, well, yeah, you got a point there. So I said, okay, I got 2 goals. One is to get rid of all these prescriptions, and the other is to get rid of you. And he laughed just like you did. He said, no, I get that. That's a worthy goal. And so I thought, the sooner I lose weight, the sooner I'm going to be able to maybe achieve some of these things.
Did your doctor lead you down that path? Did he say if you shed some of this weight, it would alleviate?
Yeah, he kind of did, but I mean, that's something you don't need. I mean, how many times do people go to the doctor, and what do they tell them all the time? Hey, I could lose a few pounds. They always,
here or there,
yeah.
I already
that's
knew
true.
that.
Yeah, but you were looking at 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought the sooner I can lose it, I know you're not supposed to lose weight fast, but the sooner I can do it, the sooner I got a chance to get rid of him and get rid of the thing. So in 8 months, I had lost 70 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
And I just started eating completely differently. Part of the problem was what I was doing before. I'd get up at 3 in the morning and I would work all day long and not eat anything. And then I'd get home and I'd eat at 5 and at 6 and at 7. It's like the worst possible thing you could possibly do.
And people, maybe people can relate to that, but if you're in a position of working really early in the morning, you can get into some bad habits.
It's a routine.
When you're waking up early in the morning, I don't know about, well, maybe for you, maybe not. I don't feel like eating that early.
No, you don't.
Absolutely.
It's like
So
you
the
just
doctor
do
said,
the
what do you
basics.
have for breakfast? And I said, I don't have breakfast.
Right.
And he said,
Same
why?
here. Yeah.
I said, because I'm on the radio. He said, well, what do you have for lunch? And then I said, well, a lot of times I don't have lunch either. Well, when do you eat? And then I told him just what I told you. And he said, oh, boy. So, and I wrote about this in the book, but now what I do, when I get off the air, I have a bowl of oatmeal with walnuts and raisins.
Okay.
And for noon, I usually have one thing of yogurt. And then for dinner, I'll have boneless, skinless chicken breast or fish, and I'll have a vegetable and a fruit for dessert. And really, that's about it.
That's about it. Do you find yourself snacking between then and before you go to bed anymore?
Not really. I mean, and I wrote about this. It depends on how badly you want to do this. It's a head game, and you have to decide right up front. And it's like starting a garden. Everybody wants to, when you first get started, then the weeds come up. But you have to decide, okay, I'm going to do this. Am I going to do it tomorrow? Am I going to do it next week? Am I going to do it next month and next year? And so people say, well, when are you going to get off your diet? I'm not on a diet. I'm going to eat this way until I die, so I have no diet to go off of.
It's a lifestyle change.
It is.
Let's talk about your new book here, because this is the second book that you've written. Tell us, remind us your first one, and then why you were inspired to write this one.
Okay, the first book was called Life in the Purple Wedge, and it's a spiritual book, and I'm amazed how many people that would never ever darken the door of a church or talk to a pastor will come and talk to their friend on the radio about these kind of things.
True,
Right.
yeah.
And now I'm getting the same thing with people who would never go to the doctor or never go to a dietitian or never go to a personal trainer, and they come to the guy on the radio and talk about this. I had a woman the other day come up to me, and this book is for people that need to lose weight or want to be healthier, but it's also for people who live with somebody like that and they're worried about them. I had a woman come up to me and she hugged me and she was crying, and she said, you have got to help me. My husband's way overweight and I'm afraid he's going to have a heart attack and die. And I wrote a chapter about that in there too, because that's a whole nother. I think if somebody would have picked on me and hounded at me, you need to lose weight, I probably would have rebelled and I wouldn't have done it.
You wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
But you made up your mind. I think that was the thing, is you in your own head said, I'm going to do this.
Yep.
And then you went out to find out the most efficient way of doing it.
Yep.
And then you kept doing it. What I was going to ask you earlier is, you're as busy as we are here. Do you have to plan your meals ahead of time? Do you find that that's the case? Or have you gotten to a routine now where you can just go about what you do and then just have your meals plugged in?
It's pretty routine. It's pretty much like what I just told you. There's some variation. I've actually become a pretty good cook, and I never thought I would say that.
Right.
I mean, I'm watching America's Test Kitchen and all of this stuff. I never thought I'd do that.
Right.
But the reason that that's happened is because I have done every possible thing you can do to a chicken. And after a while, you start thinking, there's
What's
got to be.
next?
So I experiment and I set off smoke alarms and stuff sometimes, but it makes it fun. It gives me a chance to experiment with this.
Now, how soon, if somebody grabs a copy of your book and they go through, and it's an easy read. This is a really easy read.
I make big print and
look how
short
big
chapters.
the print is, folks. That's the best part about this.
I always said
look at that.
if I wrote a book, it would be big print and short chapters.
I have to admit, you're absolutely right. It's very easy to read. The chapters are very short. You're to the point. You're not dragging this out. You're like, this is the basic idea of wanting to be healthier and making some changes in your life.
How soon do you think people can start noticing a difference if they go and they just take a couple of pieces of advice from your
If they
book?
actually did this, what I did, and not everybody can do it, I guess, but I think within a month, I went in after a month and the doctor said, geez, what have you been doing? And I said, well, you sent me to all these specialists, you know what I've been doing, but I just did pretty much what I explained to you.
Right.
And now I go in there and he'll call the nurse and, nurses, come see this guy. I'm like his rock star,
Right.
And I don't know, I just do the plan, and that's all there is to it.
Now, all the medications, you said you were on all these medications?
I'm off 3 out of 4 of them.
You
Nice.
are?
And I'm
Good for
working
you.
on the next one.
Really?
Yeah.
So I'm sure all the blood pressure and all that came tumbling down.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, they took the numbers, and boy, the doc, and it's interesting because I'm happy for the doctor, because when I came in there and he gave me that diagnosis and was telling me all those awful things, he was depressed. And I'm thinking, shouldn't I be the one that's depressed? But he felt so bad about it. And now he's so happy. And he told me, do you know how many people come in here and have the same thing you do? And I tell them the same thing I told you. And then I see him every 6 months in the waiting room. That's the same, nothing ever changes. So he said, you've really uplifted me because somebody has taken some advice and taken it seriously and did it.
Yeah,
so,
you're making him look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, Des Moines Magazine even did an article with the two of us on the front page of their magazine.
You would have to, yeah. But that is awesome.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes
again,
you need that little spark or that inspiration to get you to that next
great
level.
timing, too, for this book this time of year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and you got to figure, you know, if you got that for a gift, you would think, what are they trying to tell me?
Or I like your idea. Maybe you have somebody that you're living with that they're the ones that really need the assistance, and then maybe you can incorporate your lifestyle, this into your lifestyle, and then have them just gravitate toward it as well.
And I would tell somebody like that to give them the book, and I mean, feel free to call me. I think I'm put on earth to help other people, and if I can help in this way with the Purple Wedge or in this way with how you look and how you feel, I'm glad to do it.
Yeah, you know, you're a friend of many when they turn the radio on first thing in the morning, and they trust you, and now
and
now they have,
you know, more than a doctor, and more than, which kind of gets me. And
does that still surprise you to this day, or have you gotten
it
used
does,
to it?
and I kind of think, you know, when they want my help, I kind of think, well, this is kind of bad that they're going to the guy on the radio for help. But on the other hand, if they're not going to anybody else, I'm happy to help if I can.
Absolutely.
and give you some sound advice too, which is really cool.
Something that worked.
And you're proof
that
it has worked, and you can go through it and have the positive results
Yep.
there. Now, speaking of food, I want to make sure we talk about one other thing that you guys are doing tomorrow morning. You and Bonnie are doing something very special, and you've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
And this is one of the neatest things you guys do.
It really is. It's a very happy time, and it's kind of a tearful time too. But we do a thing once a year where we get a semi-trailer truck with 5,000 pork loins that are like 4 to 5 pounds each, and we go out to the fairgrounds, and during our morning show we give them away. And the whole idea is to get them into the hands of people, families that are needy, and we see those families, and then other people come that know families like that, and they pick them up and they'll take it to them. And the Iowa Select Farms people provide the meat, and they dress up like Santa and elves and stuff, and it's, you know, we play the Christmas music, and it's a real neat thing.
No, and you can know the hours, they changed a little bit this year. Want to make sure people know what times you can go out there.
Well, we're on the air from 5 to 9, but they are the last one will be given away at 8. So at the State Fairgrounds from 5 to 8 tomorrow morning, come in the Grand Avenue entrance, and don't be scared when you see the line, because we've had lineups of 2 or 3 miles before.
Yeah. Have you really?
But it goes through, and I mean 5,000 of them, so you'll get one.
That's unbelievable.
It's an amazing accomplishment. Isn't it?
You're continuing to do great things for our community, and we appreciate
Well, thank
that.
you. I appreciate you
stopping
guys,
by.
too.
Okay, so how can you help us out? Where can we pick this up?
Okay. Probably the easiest and best, you can get the information on it and order it at vanharden.com.
Okay.
H-A-R-D-E-N. And it's at, somebody I went to lunch with yesterday said they went to Barnes & Noble to get it, and it was sold out.
There you go.
Yeah.
You gotta like that.
Amazon.com.
You need to be printing off some more copies, sir.
Yeah. I'm doing a book signing.
Yeah, I like the arrow. There's Van there. The arrow just shows you who he is. Okay, of all those pictures.
The angelic look there.
Yeah, it's not Branstead over on the right. It's Van over there on the left. Okay, just to make sure you got those all clear. But go check that website out, because
and I'm doing a book signing on Saturday
Where?
in the Clock Tower Square at Choice's bookstore.
Oh, you are?
From 1 to 3.
That is awesome.
Yep.
Great job out of you, and thank you for the brick. You know, Van and Bonnie went out and they went to a brick factory, and they made some bricks. They brought us some bricks.
Who
here.
does a show from a brick factory?
You.
Right, you do.
Who does a show from the center of the earth?
Well, that's
You.
true. Yeah.
Let's just do a little reality check. In your book, you're very, very open about everything and showing.
I can hardly stand to look at that, to tell you the truth.
The before is, I mean, you're still that great smile and wonderful personality, but just a little bit healthier when you were able to make some good choices in your life.
What a great thing.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you
and
very much.
Welcome back anytime. Seriously.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're a great man, and we appreciate everything that you do.
I'll have to work on the afternoon shift instead, so I can come here more often.
Yeah, what Van has going on, that's what we'll do. It'll be Van's time here. Perfect. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very
Thank you.
much.
Great to see you too.
Yeah.
again.
All right.
Thanks for what you two do for the community.
Thank you very much.
It is 9.